Hi, this is Gerald Celente. It's Wednesday, December 6, 2017. And here are some of today's trends in the news. On the market front, over there in Asia, everybody's down. Over there in Europe, FTSE's up a little bit. Mixed here in the States, Dow down, NASDAQ up a little bit. Gold down, oil down. But Bitcoin bounced, man. Bop. Zam, boom, over 14,000 bucks. Yep. Max Keiser was right on this one, man. He's the first cat I heard call it when Bitcoin was, could buy it for dollars. And as you well know in our Trends Journal, trends in the news, trend alerts, trends monthly, cryptocurrencies, trend or fad. And you know what we said. This is a trend, and we don't see an end in sight. Will there be a correction? Of course there will be. Hey, I would have thought there would have been a correction when it hit 10,000, because that's what everybody was saying. This thing's going to hit 10,000 someday. So I thought there'd be a sell-off, but it just keeps going up because it's bigger than Bitcoin. And we're going to be putting a major story out on it, coming out in your top trends for 2018. That will be out shortly. So the Dow closed down a little bit. They're still waiting for that Trump tax plan to see what it's going to bring. And you know what it's going to bring for we the little people?
That was bullshit.
That's right, man. It's Trump shit. Oh, I can say that because Trump said he was going to bomb the shit out of ISIS. And they put that on the news. So take it easy, man, because that's all this is. This is a rape against we the little people. Don't believe me? Hey, how about some reports on it? Here we go. From the Financial Times. U.S. Trump's overhaul. Doubt cast on revamp as engine for growth. So most are saying this isn't going to do anything to boost the economy. It's going to trickle down, very little trickle. So watch out where you're standing because analysts say the tax overhaul has suggested that the benefits would be skewed to the wealthiest in America, in part because holdings of corporate equities are concentrated in wealthier groups. In 2027, when the individual tax cuts will have expired, more than 60% of the benefits of tax reform will go to the 1%. Isn't that great of earners? According to the Tax Policy Center, by that year, taxes would rise modestly for the lowest income group, stay about the same for the middle income group, and for the ones just above that, they get a big spike. That's right. So if you're earning a decent living, you're really going to get shafted. It's like the medieval days, but worse. Quote, I don't think this is going to be a big benefit, and it seriously intensifies the wealth inequality problem, said Bill Klein, an economist at the Peterson Institute for International Economics, hardly a left-wing group. He said the principal beneficiaries of the package were likely to be holders of corporate shares of the top 1%. The $1 trillion budget shortfall expected over the coming 10 years as a result of the plan could prompt some lawmakers, not lawmakers, little low-life boys and girls, to argue for cuts to social spending, which could further hurt those who were poorly off, he predicted. Isn't that great? Yep, because here you go, folks. We got another guy folking us. Obama folked us. Trump is too. After taxes, Republicans pivot toward welfare. That's right. Hey, welfare? You little slime balls. How about corporate welfare? Yeah, giving Bezos that $5 billion tax break to build a slave landia joint so you could get your degree in packaging, handling, and shipping and work for him and make $62.50 a week after you take it home with taxes and everything and a hernia from lifting them boxes. But the robots will be lifting them for you pretty soon. Welfare? How about the military-industrial complex welfare? Welfare? How about Trump giving welfare to the corporations as we pay higher taxes? Nah, but we got to stop that welfare, as I tell you. So that's what's going on. So the markets are flat, waiting for a bigger break. And oil. Oil went down because stockpiles rose, and so too is production. So the numbers are coming in showing that the economy may not be growing as fast as they say it is, but again, we see it as more production than demand. Very simple. And the supply cuts are not doing enough to keep the prices above $60, particularly in West Texas. So what you see is what you get. And gold's down nearing a 2-month low. Major reason is pretty soon they're going to raise interest rates. And the stronger the dollar, the weaker gold, the opportunity cost for gold goes up. So, the stronger the dollar, also the emerging markets emerge because they got a lot of debt in dollars. So we'll see what happens with the dollar growth. But right now, it's kind of flat, not a lot going on. And talking about them tax breaks and what they does, they make the mergers and acquisitions get bigger because they feed more cheap money to the big corporations that are already making dough and not reinvesting it in capital improvements. You know what they're reinvesting it in, don't you? Another $4 billion in buyback cleared. MasterCard's board approved a $4 billion share repurchase plan. Isn't that great? Yeah, make those rich cats richer, like that guy with Aetna, with CVS. Yeah, CVS, FUC, you got it, because that's all it is. This cat's going to walk away with $500 million for putting a deal together. Don't be late for work. Do a good job. Bow down. Suck up. Maybe you get a 10-cent raise at Walmart's in a couple of years. Yep, $500 million payout. Nestle seals $2.3 billion deal for Atrium. Biggest food group acquires supplement maker. The biggers get bigger, the richer get richer. This is not capitalism, it's fascism, the merger of state and corporate powers in the neo-feudal society where there's different rules for the economic elite and the political nobility. Yep. And moving on, to international news, Abbas warns Trump over Jerusalem mission move. Yeah, I guess Trump told Abbas to, you know what? Yeah. World leaders chastise U.S. over Jerusalem escalation. Trump announced they're moving the U.S. embassy away from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. From Jordan. We view this decision as illegal because it consolidates the Israeli occupation of East Jerusalem. Israel occupied East Jerusalem at the end of the 1967 war with Syria, Egypt, and Jordan, putting the entire city under de facto Israeli control. The international community has never recognized Israel's claim of all of Jerusalem. Well, they don't know. They never read the Bible. It's in the good book. God was a real estate agent, and he said Jerusalem's yours. It's right there. The Bible is a land deed. Paragraph 6, Section 8. Yeah, make up any kind of garbage you want. The world just began around then. Nobody was ever there before them, and nobody was ever there after them. Emmanuel Macron, that got sewn over in France. Yep. Paris doesn't approve the decision. Yep. Turkish President Erdogan. Protecting the current status of Jerusalem is very important, and it is important that the Islamic world act as one. Corbyn from the UK called Trump's recognition of Jerusalem a reckless threat to peace. But Netanyahu said, the Prime Minister of Israel, it's an historic day for the country. Jerusalem has been the capital of Israel for nearly 70 years. Yeah, oh yeah, great, man. You made up this thing. You're an occupying force. And don't call me an anti-Semite. Only stay with the facts, jack off. And Amnesty International said, no country in the world recognizes Israel's annexation of East Jerusalem, making the decision to confer U.S. recognition deeply troubling. Not only does this decision contribute to undermining the international rule of law, it also shows total disregard for mass human rights violations that Palestinians are facing as a result of Israel's annexation policies. This guy's an anti-Semite, those Amnesty Internationals. What a bunch of garbage this is. But I'll tell you what this really is. It's a march toward war and a declaration toward war. Put the pieces together. What do you have? Tillerson, Rex Tillerson, our Secretary of State. Here, Rex, here, boy. Tillerson presses Europe to curb Iran. Speaking in Brussels with European Foreign Minister, Mr. Tillerson said Iran's interference in Yemen's civil war, its exporting of weapons and militias to Syria, and support for Hezbollah pose a threat to the region. Quote, these issues and activities of Iran cannot be ignored and go unanswered, and we intend to continue to take action to ensure Iran understands this is not acceptable and look forward to working with European partners in that regard as well. Why don't you mind your own damn business? What are you doing over there? Who are you to tell Iran what to do? Oh, but Israel could do anything they want to do. Their illegal activities are okay. Iran's not committing any illegal activities. This is all a setup because now Saudi Arabia is in bed with Israel and the United States. They're ratcheting up a war against Iran. I've been saying this since Trump got elected back in November of 2016. That's what this is, a setup. Because the whole world is against it. And it's a spark that's going to light the fuse to war in the Middle East. And speaking about sparks, fires spread in California. Terrible tragedy. I'm mentioning this because I always say that no one could forecast the future. There are too many wild cards, whether won by Mother Nature, earthquakes, forest fires, or whatever, volcano eruptions, or wild cards by man. And as I said before, there's no wilder card than the Trump card, and there are a lot of wild cards out there playing with him. Because U.S.-backed liberation of Mosul, according to Air Wars, the civilian death toll, which is a nonpartisan monitoring group, exceeded 10,000. That's right. United States bombs and the Iraqi forces killed over 10,000 innocent civilians. But that doesn't make the news. You know why? Because the toilet paper record, or they like to call themselves the paper record, the New York Times, has slimed down to the National Enquirer. Need any more proof than this? Forget about the facts that I just talked about. We have more important things to put on the front page and really make you feel sick and disgusted. Hey, check this out, man. Harvey boy. Yeah. Slob face, front page. That's the toilet paper record. And a bunch of arrogant boys and girls run the show over there. Yep. Feeding the complicity machine. Entangling stars, scribes, and aides in a web of secrets. Hey, front page isn't enough? Open it up, man. Woo! Weinstein, whatever it is, Greenberg, iceberg, what's the difference? Complicity machine. Hey, 2 big pages in the middle aren't enough? You need more garbage? They'll shove it up and feed it to you anytime. Weinstein's complicity machine keeps going. Hey, the New York Times, they can't even get off on that. They need more. Facing harassment claims, Conyers says he'll step down. Yeah, more sex. Or wait a minute. As sex accusations climb, a question. Who stays and who goes? Washington. When Representative Tim Murray was accused of pressing his mistress to have an abortion, the Pennsylvania Republican apparently crossed the line, blah, 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 blah. But more from the New York slime. The National Enquirer, man, they got him beat. Silicon Valley investors take leave after reports of sexual misconduct. Hey, need some more? Slime paper? Got it. Netflix fires an actor facing rape accusations. Not a word about the 10,000 slaughtered by American forces and their allies in Mosul, the murderers in Raqqa, the ongoing bombings in Afghanistan that have now exceeded anything in recent years. Slaughter after slaughter, and nobody cares because we got dirt and filth to report. We're the New York slime. We're CNN, the Cartoon News Network, and every other stupid piece of mainstream media that controls 90% of the markets. And thanks to Slick Willie Clinton, the 1996 Federal Communications Act, he made it possible, gave more to the bigs, and now under Trump, the bigs are even going to get bigger, and that means their minds are going to get smaller. More junk in dumbed down America, the news that you can't use. That's why you need to subscribe to the Trends Journal. Time Magazine was last week's news tomorrow. Trends Journal is tomorrow's news today, and we're coming out with our top 10 trends very shortly. This is Gerald Celente, and that's some of today's trends in